Okay, this is a 2012 F250. It would only blow out the vents, so we pretty much took the dash out. The part that we're replacing is the flat actuator, and it looks like it has a little gearbox or something that goes with it. It goes right here. It's a real pain in the ass to get this out. I didn't start filming before, but I'll show it as we go back in with it. To get this piece out, there's a metal bracket right here, and you just absolutely can't get it off of the dash box here without removing the dash. So we completely took the dash out. If someone knows an easier way, I don't know it. This is how we did it. We're not 100% sure this is even going to fix it. When we got into this piece, it was all out of track and stuff, kind of snapped out of gear. We blew the inside of these out real good to make sure nothing was in the flaps here. There's 3 different doors, you know, this is one of them, to make sure there was nothing in there like blocking them, causing this thing to get into a bind. But I mean, this is kind of what we're doing right now, and I'll show some more as we start going back in with it. But all we did, we buy this part, about $80, my cost from Ford. We do have a shop, so it was cheaper. It may be a little more if you're buying it full retail. We just went ahead and bought the whole thing. I think you can buy just the motor if this piece is okay. But as we started taking this piece apart, we did kind of break these little clips here, and as you can see, one missing right there. So there's 3 or 4 bolts that hold this on. Once you get the dash out of the way, it's a pretty simple process. It's almost impossible to check it though until you get the dash all back in, and of course all the controls and stuff. But I'll show that as we go. Okay, we got the dash back in. We took off a lot of stuff that didn't need to come off just because it was our first time doing a 2012. Only thing we can think of, it did fix it. The only thing we can think of is somebody dropped a pin or something down in there and it jammed the door up and messed up the unit. We took a lot of trash, a lot of candy, a lot of crap out of the vents that had fallen down in there somehow. But again, to get this dash off, you've got 2 bolts here on each side. Up top here you've got 2. On that side you've got 1, and then of course the other 2. Now on this side, for some reason they hid one outside here. There's a little plastic deal here, and there's one going in. You get that one first. It's hard to get to. Once you get that out, those basically, what, 7 or 8 bolts hold this dash on. There is a bracket that goes down here somewhere, right there. That has to come off. I would say go ahead and take out the airbag. It's pretty easy. It has 3 bolts or so in it. You're gonna have to take the glove box off because you have to unplug those 2 there, and then all that stuff over there gets unplugged. Then you just leave the wiring harness in. You don't necessarily have to take the airbag out or the radio or the cluster, but to get to these bolts back in here, you can see better, but it doesn't necessarily have to be done. The only thing you have to take off is these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts. Then you have to unplug some stuff over there. You got 2 big plugs here, 1 big one there, and then another big one right here. Unplug those 2. You'll unhook the shifter cable. It's pretty easy, and it just push this clip and it slides out. There's a number 10 on the steering going straight up. Take that one out and the steering slides apart right here. And it's you don't have to worry about lining it up because it has a notch in the shaft where it'll only go in one way. Now I don't know for sure, but you may not want to let this thing turn because there is a clock spring in here for the airbag. You may want to make sure, maybe strap it or do something to keep it from turning around while you're taking it in and out. Yeah, I guess you could just lock it with the key. We unlocked it and moved it, and we had to be real careful putting it back. You will have to take off your handles on each side, both sides there. You'll have to take these end caps off. I would go ahead and take off this kick panel here, knee panel, and definitely do the glove box so that you can unplug a couple of plugs behind it. Definitely unhook the battery before you start any of this. The part that we replaced is way back up in there. This is the metal bracket I was telling you that keeps you from being able to get it out. It gets right up against it. The only way is to take out the whole dash. We took off a lot of extra screws and stuff trying to cheat and work around it. If we'd have just went ahead and took the dash out in the beginning, it would have been a lot easier. The dash actually comes out really easy. the box, the AC box, whatever you want to call it, that has the heater core, evaporator core, all that stuff, and it stays on the car. The part that you're going to replace stays on the car. You can get to it after the fact. We're going to start putting stuff back together. It did fix our problem. While we had it out, we took the opportunity to blow it out real good. This was an oil-filled truck, so we did have a whole bunch of dirt. Took a bunch of crap out of the box. You need to reach down in there as best you can, make sure nothing's in there jamming up the doors, the door flaps. Make sure your other ones work while you're in there. Your blend door for your heat, your fresh air door, all that stuff. We checked all that while we were in there. Like I said, you don't have to take the cluster out. You don't have to take the radio out. You don't have to take the airbag out. You could probably work around all this. But see the bolt that he's putting in right there, you just have to be able to do that by feel. We have magnetic sockets. If you don't have those, good luck. This probably ain't something you could do by yourself in your driveway, but if you have a good set of tools and a good buddy and a 12-pack of beer, you can probably get it done in a day.